Greetings, fellow Carbonauts! This is Nerdy Spaceman, in for another episode of A Beginner's Guide to Kerbal Space Program. And in this episode, we are going to fly that airplane we just made in the last episode. How exciting is that? Yeah, looking forward to it. Okay, so, before we launch it, I'm going to go ahead and open this up, the spaceplane hangar. I'm going to load our basic jet. And we'll talk a little bit about the action groups that I skipped before because I kind of sort of ran out of time. The way action groups could be used in a really cool way is we can do, for example, in the first action group, we can do the ladders. And when it selects both of them, so you can toggle the ladder, so we have an easy way to open and close the ladders. Sure, that's simple. But what we can also do is we can take our science experiments, for example, the atmospheric fluid thing, and then we can select it to run the atmospheric data. We can log pressure data, log temperature data, observe mystery goo, and observe the materials bay. And that's going to be running a whole bunch of experiments at once. Oh, we can also do a crew report, can't we? There it is, crew report. So we're running a whole bunch of experiments all at once. Now, we're going to be running both of the atmospheric fluid spectrometer meter things. I don't exactly remember what it's called by the top of my head, but we'll be running those experiments at the same time. So we'll just discard one and keep the other. I'm also not running the seismograph because if I'm flying when I run it, it'll break it. So I'm purposely not doing that. But anyways, that's a cool little tidbit of information there that you should probably use just because it's useful. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to launch. Oh, no. I don't have Bill, do I? Or I have Bill instead of Bob, right? Oh, yeah, I got the engineer in here. Okay, let's go back to the spaceplane hangar. Let's actually get the scientist in here. Yeah, get out of here, engineer. We need a scientist. This is science mode. Scientists are what we're looking for. Okay, so I talked a little bit about how the fins are used in the airplanes. So actually, we're moving, we're rolling. Apparently the runway is at a slope, so I'm gonna go ahead and click the brakes button, and that locks the brakes in place. Now, okay, we're gonna talk about the rudders and the fins and the control surfaces. So here we got roll, yaw, and pitch. It's actually listed right here. So when I do the Q and E, you can see it actually rolls. It tries to do the roll. And this is the same for rockets too. You'll actually be able to see it in here. But when you do that, you've noticed that only these two, the fins only out here, are the only ones that actually do any changing. That's got to do with the way when you right click, the way I deactivated the pitch and the yaw. Now when you do the yaw, you can see here it does just this rudder back here, and that's because I deactivated it everywhere else. It also does the steering on the wheel here because I made the steering work, and it's not doing it back there, so yeah. And then there's the pitch, which is the up and down, the W and D keys, and you'll see how only these move. So for example, I can do a pitch and a roll at the same time, and you'll see these are going different directions, but these are both go the same. And it's going to make my plane fly in a different way. Or I can do a pitch, a roll, and a yaw. Oh, I guess I can only do two inputs at a time, so let's do a pitch and a yaw, or a roll and a yaw, or a pitch and a roll, and so on and so forth. Different combinations, and they won't interfere with each other, so I'll be able to control these surfaces much more accurately. But anyways, enough of that. Let's actually get to flying. Turn on my SAS, max throttle, and push the space key and let go of the brakes, and we're off. Now, from before, you'll notice that the front wheel is a little bit longer than the bottom wheels because they're a little splayed out. This means that my aircraft, if you run it flat, is actually pointing a little bit up. You can see here, it's not perfectly pointing towards the horizon. That means when we pick up enough speed, look at that, we're already off the ground. We didn't even add any inputs at all. So we can push the G key to put our gears away, and we're off. We're totally flying right now. So that's cool. So, let's fly it around. Now, the way you fly a plane is you roll into a turn, and then you pitch up. See, I'm just doing the pitch. Normally, if you're flying straight and you do a pitch, it's going to actually make you go up and down. But in an airplane, when you fly, you roll into a turn and then you pitch. Now, if you were trying to do with the yaw, it'll give you pretty poor results. Like this is the yaw, and it's like it's barely turning. See that? It's like slowly turning. It's much better when you do a roll and a pitch, because that just gives you more turning ability. Now, the trick is you don't want to do it too quickly. If you pitch up too quick, you're going to stall. So here, I'll show you what a stall looks like. So here's our reticle. It's always in the center, and when I pitch, I've got the program marker is like trailing a little bit behind because I'm pointing the aircraft in a direction that I'm not currently traveling in. So when you stall is when you pull real fast and you lose track. And here it is. I'm spinning. All of a sudden, I started turning left. That's because my program marker got way too far off of my, so it means I'm pointing in a direction that I'm not traveling in, and the difference is huge. I'm almost pointing in the opposite direction. And that makes it so that my wings lose the properties. So fast air gives wings lift. The slower the air, the less effective the wings become. And when you stall, the air is moving perpendicular to the wings. Like right now, I just stalled for a second. It's moving it perpendicular to the wings as opposed to parallel to them, and it stalls out. It makes them useless. So essentially, you turn into a brick at that point, and it's never a good thing. You don't want to do that. So when you're taking turns, you want to make sure that you're pointing the right way with the roll, but you take it easy. You make sure you keep track of your prograde there, and you don't lose it. See, I'm just stalling here. You can get yourself in trouble. If you lose altitude, you lose speed, and it's pretty bad. But anyways, enough chit-chatting. Let's collect some experiments. So I'm going to go ahead and push the 2 key, and you're going to collect a whole bunch of experiments. Here's 7 of them. And you'll see some of them are actually already collected. Material study, don't need that. Crew report, don't need that. Temperature scan, atmospheric scan, but the atmospheric analysis, that's the new experiment. That gives us science. We're going to keep that. Now we've got another one, so we're going to discard the other one. And then we're gonna discard the goo. And so that was pretty much all the experiments minus one of the atmospheric scans. So that's good. That gave us some information. And we can, let's see which one here. This one here, I believe, has it. This one doesn't. So we can actually review it real quick. And this is over the shores. That's cool. Go ahead and keep that. And let's collect one while we're flying over the water, shall we? So do 2 again. Well, this looks like it's still shores. Yeah, that's still short, so I'm going to go ahead and reset all of these. Let's fly out more into the ocean and get some water signs. Actually, you know what? Let's fly off the shores. Let's go into, let's say, the grasslands. How's that? Does that sound good? I think the grassland sounds good. Now, or better yet, let's go to the runway. Alright, we're going to try to land. We can get some science from the runway, because the runway is actually a biome all on its own, so we can actually collect runway data. So let's do that. Now, here I am running at max thrust, and my speed is going like crazy, and this is way too fast. So I can kill the engine and just start gliding at this point. Like, I've got so much speed, it's going to be just fine. Now, another way to slow down is by changing direction. So rolling doesn't change speed much, but when you start changing direction with a yaw or a pitch, is even better. Look at my speed, it's going to just plummet. It's going to get converted into a different kind of energy. So there it is. My speed has gone down a whole bunch, and I'm kind of coming in. And what I'm going to do is put G to bring down my gears. There we go. And I'm going to glide my way to the runway. Now, I'm totally going the wrong direction, and that's not bad. It could be a lot worse. I'm going to go ahead and try to do my yaw, just because I do a nice slow control turn. Okay, that's definitely not enough. So I'm going to go ahead and pitch up while I'm rolling. Okay, come on. Come on now. And here it is. The prograde, I want it to be right below the horizon. It means I'm falling. If I need more altitude, I pitch up more. Alright, coming in totally too early, but that's alright. Guess that worked out for me. Switch off the SAS, and I can then control my craft here, and then just start tapping on the brakes with the B key. So tap, 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 kill off the rest of my energy, and here I am. Then click on the button to enable the gears, and here we are. Now what I can do is I can do the 2 key again, and here it is, a whole bunch of runway data. So I've got material study, keep it, crew report, keep it, temperature scan, atmospheric pressure scan, atmospheric analysis, that's the other one, and the mystery goo. Awesome. But there's an extra set of data. I'm going to hit the 1 key, which is the hotkey for the ladders. Actually, I don't think I even need the ladders. If I climb up, I'm resting on this craft, and that's going to count as runway data as well. So surface sample and EVA report. Cool. take those experiments. Ooh, and there's log seismic data from the runway. There it is. I forgot that one. So cool. So let's go ahead and take all these. Take that. Collect that data. And restore it. And then download the data. Download the data. And then the science, material science bay down here. Come on now. Give me that data. I'm going to collect it. And restore it. So essentially I reset the experiments. Oh, fall off now. And I'm gonna board. So I've got fresh experiments ready to go. Push the 1 key to put my ladders away. I ended up not needing it, so that's good. Turn on SAS. Max out my throttle. Switch off my brakes. And then we're off. So we lift off. Sweet, that was fun. Cool. And that's how you land. You gotta slow down, make sure you're going not too fast, and then eventually go ahead and land. So that was cool. I'm gonna go ahead and turn around carefully, not making sure I don't stall. Let's go fly over to the grasslands. And that's the cool thing about jets is look how little fuel I've used so far. Out of 400 units of fuel and all this flying around, I've only used 362 of it. So I can keep flying for an extremely long amount of time. So that's always good. I can actually run atmospheric data from grasslands. So apparently I'm in the grasslands. So go ahead and keep that. I believe I have the data from everything else, right? Pressure data, yeah. Temperature data. Yeah, I should have everything else. So I'm good in that regard. But I'm going to go ahead and kill the engine, pull out my gears, and then do some sharp turns to try to kill my speed a little bit. And there it is. You can see my speed falling down, falling down. Alright, so when you're under 50, you're a nice, good, safe speed. And I'm going to go ahead and do some more turning. Meanwhile, I'm pointing more towards the horizon. So I'm still losing altitude, but at least I'm not pointing to the ground. So that's always good. And here it is. I'm going to glide my way down. Now what you can do is you can push the light key so you can actually get a good idea of how far off the ground you are. The U controls that as well, so that's a hotkey you can use. And that's the same for all rockets and planes. So here I am, and I'm coming in. And touchdown. What was that? Turn off SAS. Oh goodness. Oh, don't fall over. Don't fall over. No. No. Don't do it. So right now I'm actively controlling it from spinning out. Nope. Oh, I lost a wing. How terrible is that? Tap my brakes. And I've lost a wing. Now, I can tell you right now, from experience, I have crashed more planes than I have successfully landed. That's that's very true. Planes crash. It's hard to land. You make mistakes all the time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and push the 2 key. And it looks like pressure, I guess, from the grasslands and atmosphere data, so that's good. Better than nothing. And I do believe I have EVA data from there too, so I'm going to go ahead and climb up. Surface sample, yeah. EVA, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and board. F to grab, board, okay. So that's all I could collect this time. But still, I got some data. I'm going to go ahead and recover this vessel because I'm missing a wing and I'm not getting any more science out of that. And there it is. I got 79 points of science. That's not even that bad. That's actually pretty damn good. And this is a great way to get new science. For example, when you go to the science tree, you go to the archives, and you can click on Kerbin, and you can break it down to biomes. You can see here that I've got more, data from certain places than other places. For example, the shores in the highlands I've got 12, but in the grasslands I've got 13, and the mountains I've got 1. So, and this is EVA from space just above the mountain. So I've never even been to the mountain. So this plane would be a great use for that. You would take the plane, fly it out to the mountains, and then collect data while you're flying over the mountains. I believe the thermometer can collect data from there. You can get a crew report from there. And eventually then you can slow down and land on the mountain. And then you can, while you're holding on the ladders, get flying data. And then you can collect all kinds of other data from being landed on the mountains. And a plane would be such a better use for collecting science like that. If you want to have like a completionist kind of point of view from it. Getting a rocket all the way out there is just such a hassle. You have no real control. You're either, pulling away from the planet, flying parallel to the planet, or you're crashing towards it. There's no real flying involved. It's more just like a brick with an engine on it. So it's It's a lot less controllable. A plane, on the other hand, you can glide your way in nice and slow, touch down and try to land, but it's not easy by any means, but it's definitely fun. Definitely a good way to go about these things. But I'm not really going to bother. It's not too much science that we did. I mean, we did just grassland stuff, and we're not exceeding, look at this, it's atmosphere analysis, it's not exceeding 14 units of science. So with all that science we collected, it's not that much. I mean, considering space, you can get like 300 or like 500 of science at a time. It's more efficient than flying a plane, but flying planes are easier to get to certain places. Like, the North Pole is easier to actually fly to with a plane than with a rocket, just because rockets are notoriously hard to get precise motions for. They can do real big distances very well. They can't do precise motions that well. But anyways, oh, that was a wrong click. Anyways, that was planes and a general theory on how to build and fly planes. And if you ever want to, just explore Kerbin, there's so many cool places to go. There's all kinds of canyons and rivers and lakes and stuff to check out. I highly recommend you do that when you have some free time. But anyways, that's all enough for this episode. In the future episodes, we're going to try to get real far. I'm thinking Duna and Eve. It's the other planets nearby. So, yeah, I'll see ya in those episodes. This has been Nerdy Spaceman. Stay safe and fly far.